get this set up. We are recording. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Startup Circle group coaching session. Today, we're talking about Instagram in your business. And I am going to share my screen. Where's it at? Desktop. Let's see here. Hold on. I'm going to go over here. And present. All right. So today we're talking about Instagram in your business. And I know a lot of us are on Instagram, probably most of us. So Instagram, like Facebook, is always changing. And it's important to stay on top of it. In fact, Instagram is really growing quite a bit. So here's what you can expect from this group coaching session. First off, what exactly is Instagram? How do you grow your following? We'll talk about creativity and branding. And this is pretty much about the look of Instagram and what type of look that you want. How to use hashtags. Shopping from your Instagram page. So those of you that actually have a product to sell or are using Shopify or BigCommerce, a platform like that, you are able to shop from your Instagram page. There's actually more now, but understanding your analytics, and then some recent changes to Instagram and what it means to your business. Here are a few Instagram facts, okay? Instagram started in October of 2010. So not that long ago. And it was sold to Facebook in 2012 for $1 billion, which is, I always joke, that's like an awesome return on investment. But Facebook now owns Instagram, and that's why we've seen some changes as far as like algorithm changes and things like that. But they do own it. There are over 800 million active users on Instagram right now. More than 4.2 billion Instagram likes per day. So people are very active on there. Video, when Instagram introduced video, there were more than 5 million videos uploaded in the first 24 hours. So you hear me talking about video and how important that is, whether you've have attended one of my workshops before, you've heard me speak outside of the workshops, or you've reached out to me. Video is big. Video is going to continue to be big. So if you are not doing video as of yet, I encourage you to hop on the video bandwagon because you don't want to get lost in the dust with this. Instagram engagement is 10 times higher than on Facebook. I don't know if you guys notice this. I definitely notice it. I get much more engagement on Instagram than I do on my business page. And that, of course, is a lot of it has to do with the algorithms and who is actually seeing it. But there's much more engagement on Instagram. There's less competition on Instagram. So 90% of the businesses are on Facebook, but only 70% are currently on Instagram. So that tells me that while you still need Facebook. Most businesses are on Facebook, and as customers, they're going to Facebook first to look for businesses. 70% are on Instagram. Not all of them are on Instagram yet, but they are coming. So start going on there and getting used to being on Instagram. And it's time for brands to, it's time for brands to look for ways to engage with their followers. And what I mean by that is that social media is a two-way street. So it's not just clients engaging with us. Now we've got to engage with our customers and respond back to them. And a lot of times this doesn't happen on social media. So we're going to talk a little bit about that as well. So how do we grow our Instagram following, right? This is a page. I stole this from somebody, a photographer. And I don't remember who. I should have given them credit when I stole the picture. But it's the way that your profile is going to look, right? I know that I follow a lot of female entrepreneurs and different girl groups. And so you see a lot of light color pinks and whites on those ones. I kind of like this page because they took a totally different approach with the neutral colors, and they have this some very clean look and a theme going through it as when you look at their page. But what you want to do is, first off, you have to make sure that your profile is complete, right? If you are running a business, then you want to make sure that that business is set up as a business profile and not a personal profile. A lot of times people will ask me, and I get this question ironically quite a bit. They have a personal profile and they are trying to set up a business one, but they say they're stuck because it doesn't allow them. It wants them to create a whole new Facebook page. The reason for that is every Instagram profile has to have its own email associated with it. Instagram is not like Facebook where you have one main profile, but you can create as many business pages as you want. Instagram is different. Every profile has to have its own Instagram or own email account. So if you're getting stuck and you're wondering why it's asking you to create a whole new Facebook page, business page, that's the reason why. Now, it's important to have a business page for a number of reasons, and I will touch on some of them later, but the biggest reason is the analytics, right? How do you know if you're doing something right, or if it's working, if you're not looking at the analytics of what you're posting, right? You're trying to, whatever your goal is, whether you're trying to increase your brand awareness or increase engagement or get more people to walk, through your doors, you have to know if it's working or not. So having that business profile and being able to look at those analytics are very important. So make sure that you set it up as a business page. You want to make sure that it's aesthetically appealing. Like this post, this image that's right here, the colors and the themes and the filters are all very similar. It has a similar look. If you noticed, they've got a lot of earth tones and neutrals. She even has a black and white in there, but it just goes with the flow. Like it blends very well. It's very appealing. Now, if you are not a photographer like she is, and you're not sure where to get these images, first off, your cell phones. Taking pictures on your cell phone is the first place to look. And there's so many great quality cell phones and filters. Just pay attention to the filter that you are using and try to keep that consistent. Keep the brightness consistent. If you've got patterns, sometimes people will create patterns on my Deanna Facillo Instagram page. I have a pattern that's going. Sometimes they'll piece images together to create one larger image. So whatever that theme is when you think of the beginning, continue that throughout. If you aren't able to take pictures on your cell phone and you just don't have quality images, you don't like them, and you don't want to hire a photographer to take a bunch of pictures for you, what you can also do is purchase, or there's a lot of royalty-free images out there. So I know we've talked about some of those royalty-free images. I also if you log in to your account through deannafacillo.com, if you're a member of the Startup Circle, there's also a list of over 300 free resources for businesses, and on there are images and pictures and things like that, so you can take a look. They're all listed there with a link to their website, so be sure to log into the site so that you can take a look at that. You want to introduce your brand through stories and highlights. So this is, the stories are the little circles that go around your profile pictures. It's so important to have something like that because it keeps you at the top of the list. So even though people may not see your actual Instagram posts, your story will show up across all of your followers, so they're able to see that you have a story. So it keeps your name, your business, your face in front of everybody. So be sure that you're doing stories. Highlights, which we'll have a picture, I think it's on the next slide, of highlights, are also important. You can kind of introduce your brand, right? What you're about, who you are, who your clients are, what's important to you. And there are some pretty creative ways people are doing that right now. I just mentioned use Instagram stories. This is so important because it shows up in all the public stories as well. You can add a hashtag to your story if you want to. If you add that hashtag is searchable. So you're able to show up. So if somebody's, in this case, if somebody put photographer and they did a story and they used hashtag photographer, if I'm searching for hashtag photographers, they're going to show up in my feed. I'll be able to find them. You can also add a location as well. So that's your geotag. And that's something that you do want to use. You do want to use your geotags as well. It just helps people find you, find your business, especially if you're local. You definitely want to use that so that when people are searching your area, you come up. Use the right hashtags and don't get shadow banned. Now, I talked about this a while. I don't hear that much about shadow banning. I'm not going to go too deep into it now. I don't know if that's still happening a lot or not, but if you're afraid you might be shadow banned, you can message me and let me know, and I'll tell you how to find out. But I'm going to kind of avoid that one right now because I don't see it as much as I did in the beginning of the year. If you want to grow your Instagram following, get featured outside of Instagram, right? Have somebody who writes blogs blog about you, or in local media. You can, if they're talking about you, add your Instagram feed. Share it on Facebook as well. Let people know to follow you on Instagram or on Twitter. My Twitter feed, I'm not on Twitter a lot. I am there. I'm not just posting from Facebook or Instagram directly to Twitter. I'm actually there engaging with people and retweeting things. So I believe that I still have it. I may still have it. If you follow me at Deanna Facillo on Twitter, it may say that most likely you're going to find me on Instagram. So come over there. So it'll help people find me and hop over. So don't be afraid to do that and drive people to your Instagram page. You can also boost your posts to new audiences, right? So just like Facebook and boosting a post, you can boost a post in Instagram. You can run ads. You can create an ad on Facebook and have it run in Instagram as well. But doing that and doing these paid advertisements is going to help get your business in front of different people and grow your following. So we talked a little about stories and highlights, and you can see in this picture at the very top, those circles, that's right under the Instagram name. That's what stories look like, and that's where they show up. So on your news feed, you're going to see everybody who has an Instagram story. They're going to show up, and they're fun to watch. You kind of get lost in it and watching it. There's so many really cool things you can do with stories. You can add GIFs. You can add questions. You can put your geotag in, your hashtag. You can write texts. You can tag other people. So a lot of cool things that you can do with it. If you look on this one of this Chicago wedding planner, Elizabeth Nord, she does a really cool job of her highlights, which are the stories that are the circles right above her profile. It has blog, family, baby Nord, photos. So this is a way of her to introduce her brand, her business, herself to her clients if they don't know her. There's so many really cool creative ways that people are using this. It's a great tool, so be sure you're using your stories and highlights. So this right here is an example. As you guys know, or maybe you don't know, the difference between Facebook and Instagram is that Facebook, I mean, the platforms are different, but Facebook is more of a storytelling platform. Instagram is as well, but it's visual first and foremost. So the image really has to catch people before they're actually going to click to read your story. Where on Facebook, they might read your story and then look at the image. So images are very, very important. And sometimes I find that people will post pictures And it's obvious that they're selling a product and their whole Instagram feed is about selling. This particular one, I really do like it because it doesn't look like they're selling, but they are, right? And it's just done very subtly. It looks like cool products. It makes you a little curious of what this is about. It looks like a spa to me, so it would make me more curious. The colors are pretty cool. So the way that they did this image is I don't know, it intrigues me. The way that they did their post is they were asking a question, right? What's your ritual? This is a way to encourage people to comment, is to ask questions. As people comment on your Instagram feed, it helps your reach, and the higher the engagement, the better the reach. One thing I didn't really like about this, and I'm kind of torn, is that they asked, there's good and bad in what they did, right? They offered a promo and they said direct message us to find it. Personally, I like the shop feature better. And we'll talk about that later because I think we're very lazy. We don't want to click extra buttons or send a direct message to get a discount or something that's not available on the website. So I think it's a hassle. We need to make it easy. On the positive end, though, by having somebody direct message you, that is helping that engagement, because now if they direct message you, they're going to start seeing your post more in their feed. So there's pros and cons to both of this. You know, I'm kind of torn. I guess it would depend on what my goal is and what I want to do. If you have a huge following, and I will share this with you, what it's becoming more and more popular, and these are people that have like 10,000 plus as far as followers, they're now making their posts or their Instagram pages private just temporarily, or maybe for a while. Something that they're doing is that it's private, so now you've got to request them. And if you choose to leave, it will pop up and say if you want to follow them again, they're going to be notified. So it kind of discourages it. They're also doing that, if they've got a big following, is they are, say, 24 hours, maybe if this was this company, this Element Self-Care, maybe they say like exclusive just for my Instagram followers. It's private, so you are the only ones who can see this, and here's a special offer just for you. When the offer is done, they make it public again, and that offer no longer exists. So they're doing some really cool things. With larger businesses, it works. I haven't seen it done with anybody smaller than 10,000 yet. Not to say it's not going to work. It's a kind of a new fad that's happening. If you try it, let me know how it works for you. But that's something that's going on right now. You may have noticed it. Don't buy followers. I preach this a lot. Followers, it builds credibility the more followers that you have. I understand that. However, they're not the quality followers that you want more times than not, whether this is an email list that you're purchasing or you're buying followers on Facebook or Instagram. They're not your demographic. They're probably not buyers. It makes it harder for you to fix what is broken by buying followers. Your reach, it really diminishes after you hit about 10,000 followers anyhow. It's harder to reach all those people. You've got to kind of change your strategy, but just don't buy followers. If you did, it takes some work to fix that, and you might be wondering why your engagement is so low. But if you didn't, just stay away from it, or if you're debating it, stay away from it. All right, the next part we're going to talk about is how to generate some leads with Instagram. So this is the same platform or same process across all the platforms, right? You want to attract people to your business. Sometimes it's with an offer. It's not always with an offer, but sometimes you can do hashtag Instagram exclusive, right? So that they know that this offer is only on Instagram. Once you get them to Instagram, right, you want to convert those followers to prospects. So you want them to buy into your brand. And these are from the posts that you're creating, what you're sharing. doing your lives or doing behind the scenes, getting people to know you, like you. So you want to convert them over from followers to prospects. Then you want to nurture those prospects, right, into making a purchase through email campaigns. So you want them, I'm really big on email campaigns. I'm really good on driving traffic to your website, not to keep it on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter or YouTube, but to ultimately drive it to your own, your website and capture those emails. So you want to make sure that you're finding a way to capture those emails, whether it's through sales, whether it's through white papers, or just subscribing to your newsletter. 51% of marketers say that this is the most effective way to nurture your prospects. It's through email campaigns. So it's really important that you start doing that if you haven't. They can improve your conversions by 73%, and then ultimately close the sale. So the thing is like whether you are on Instagram or whether you are in a store, the steps are pretty much the same. It's just the way that we're doing the step changes, right? Find a way to attract people, convert somebody who's heard of you into somebody, a prospect. Nurture them through your email campaigns, get to know them, and then close the sale. Hashtags are really big. They started on Twitter, and they have now carried over onto Instagram. Always use hashtags on Instagram. It helps people follow you, just not locally, but nationwide, worldwide. You can use local hashtags if you want to as well. I do. When you use hashtags, there's 12.6 more engagement, and you can use up to 30. Reports are showing 11 is the key number of hashtags, but test. I said I'm currently in testing mode. I'm always in testing mode, to be honest with you. But I do use probably between 11 and 30 hashtags. It changes. I know that I say test it for yourself. More around 20 seems to work for me the best. Less than 11 doesn't do very well for me. They sometimes say between 7 and 9. So test that out, see where your sweet spot is with your fans, but this kind of gives you a guideline of how many to use. Your status, you can put hashtags in your status, so be sure that you're using that as well. And this helps you come up quickly with if people are looking for stuff. I put here, don't share your hashtags to Facebook. I think it looks sloppy. I know we're able to share our Instagram posts to Facebook, and it makes things really easy, but you want to make sure that it's a totally different experience for your Facebook users. Doing it once in a while is totally cool. Don't have an issue with it. Doing it all the time, not cool. Sharing, it just looks sloppy on Facebook. It makes you realize like that's not really what it was intended for. If you're posting to Twitter all the time and your only post to Twitter is through Instagram or Facebook, stop doing that. Twitter people don't like it. You can shop on Instagram. I know I've talked about this. This has been out now for probably a year, if not a little bit more, but I'm still finding people who have no idea. This is Kate Spade's Instagram feed. This shows you what it looks like. You can actually tap on the product and it goes from her Instagram directly to the shopping cart. So cool. If you have a product, you definitely want to do this. Shopify and BigCommerce were the two that started that. Not started that, but the two platforms where it was available. BigCommerce was first. Shopify just came on board with it. If I know there's others out there, I'm not really sure who, because those are the two that I really work with the most. But if you have a product to sell, I would definitely incorporate this on there. On your analytics, right? This is really important. You guys pay attention to your analytics. There's so many different things. If you take a look at the first slide, the first cell phone image, it shows you how many clicks to the website, how many more from the other week. You can see when your followers are on. You can see what day they're on, what time they're on. You can see what content they like the most, where they're located. There's a lot of really, really good information on there. So be sure that you're logging in and you're looking at those analytics all the time. Some recent changes to Instagram. Don't edit your post for 24 hours, right? You're getting penalized if you do this. Engage with your followers. Like I said, guys, social media is social, so you want to be sure that you're engaging with them as well as having them engage with you. Respond to their posts within 24 hours. If you can do it quicker, then that's better. If you can do it within the hour, that's even better. But as you respond, Instagram rewards those posts with high engagement, which means that the more engagement you have on a post, the more people that it's going to reach organically. So you want to make sure that you're reaching as many people as you can organically and having people engage. So when somebody responds to you, even if it's one of those bots and you know that they really are not paying attention, respond with an emoji, respond with something. If there's like a weird thing that you can't respond at all, it doesn't make sense, just respond with an emoji. That increases your engagement, which then increases your reach. You can follow hashtags on Instagram. So if you want to know what's going on Instagram, maybe you follow hashtag Instagram. If you want to follow photographers, maybe you follow hashtag photography tips, right? So you can follow hashtags and they're going to show up in your feed, which I love. I do that. I do it in local areas as well. Stories, use them, expect them. I should have put an M there. See my typo? Expect them to dominate. There are over 300,000 daily users, right? The more likely users interact with your stories, the more likely you're going to show up in your feed. So ask those questions, have them respond to you, do the little sliders, whatever, right? You can create highlights on your Instagram page and you can add GIFs to your stories now. You can also share a story as a post. So if you go onto my page and I have this turned on, it has to be turned on. Oops, should have gone back. Well, you can share your story as a post, but you can also share my story as a post as well. If you do share, if you go to my page and I have it turned on and you share my story, it's going to show that it came from me. It gives me credit. Or you can share your own story as a post. So it's kind of cool. Even more changes, you can schedule posts. In order to schedule posts, though, you have to be a business. So if you are not a business, you're not able to schedule these posts. You can see when someone has been on last through direct messages. So go to your direct messages and take a look and see. It'll show you the activity so you can see when they were on last. Or you can turn that off as well. You can join live requests. So if you see somebody, if I'm live on Instagram and you're following me and you're checking out my live, you can request to be on and maybe I'll pull you in so you can join in that. Even though Instagram rewards high engagement, it will restrict you if you don't engage. So I always say take a minimum of an hour a month. That's so minimal. You should be doing more and engage with other people, right? Just get out there and start engaging. It's time consuming, but you're going to be rewarded for it. And if you don't do it, if you don't respond back to people, then you are restricted. They also look at how quickly you're engaging, how quickly people are engaging with you. So if you can get people engaging pretty quickly, this helps. So the new algorithm really looks at a lot of different components. I already kind of touched on that. Here are some changes. So over here, right, this just came out yesterday. And what are we? We are August 15th, I think. So if you're watching this later, this is when it came out. I don't see this on my page yet. You may have it on yours. But you are going to be able to look to see how long you've been on Instagram or Facebook, right? And they want more, they're helping you with time management. So you can actually just pause those notifications. You can see from 15 minutes to 8 hours so that you don't get any notifications and it tells you how long that you've been on. Kind of cool. I asked a question on my Facebook page, and I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say. What do you think about this rolling out? Do you think people are going to engage or be on social media less once they realize how long they're really on? Or do you think it's not going to have any effect at all because we're all pretty much hooked? The other thing that should be coming out, I've been waiting for it to come out. Some people have it, I don't. But it's the regram. So that little circle right there means that instead of using a third-party app to repost somebody else's content, you can actually just hit that button and it will regram that post for you, which I think is super cool. Anyhow, guys, these are just some tips and tricks about Instagram and your business. If you have questions, please message me, go to the Startup Circle, hop in the Facebook group, and ask questions about Instagram and your business if you have any. So hopefully this helped you, and I will catch you all in the circle. Catch you later.